Well, Adam, it's great to have you back on the show. And, well, I say back. This is the first time that I've actually talked to you for this show. We met a long, long time ago, back in '07 for the Punk the Halls tour in Abilene, Texas, but that was before this show started.
Oh, yes, I remember that show.
Yeah, it was fun stuff. Now,
Yeah,
see,
man.
you guys ought to do a reunion. It's really weird that all of those bands are still around because, you think about how far ago '07 is compared to everything else and how fast some bands come and go. And I'm pretty impressed that all the bands are still kicking. It's pretty incredible.
Dude, that is amazing. That tour was still one of my favorites that we've ever done. We had so much fun on that tour.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, cool. Now, tell us a little bit about the upcoming album, the one called All In. I know that is it supposed to come out on August 27th?
That's correct, yes.
Fantastic. Well, that's not too far away.
Yeah, man, it has been quite the journey. We haven't put out a full-length record since 2010.
Wow.
And right about that time, a couple of guys left the band to be with their families. They were having kids, and they just wanted to get off the road. And so we got a couple of new people in, and so it's been kind of a lot of changeover in the band in the last 3 years and trying to figure out kind of what our direction was. Do I even keep doing music? That's kind of where we started from, and then started writing a bunch of songs, and I just wanted to get the best possible songs I could. I've written over 100 songs for this record, and we chose 10.
Oh, wow.
And, and on previous records, I would write, 10 or 12 songs, and we'd choose 10 or 12. And so this was a little bit different process, but I got to write with some of the best writers in New York and L.A. and Nashville, and I really wanted to do the best possible job I could with this record. And this record is the most personal of any of our records by far. It's the most transparent. It's basically about me and my journey over the last 3 years and trying to find that connection, reconnecting with God on that level that is all in. That's kind of where the song came from. It's about being 100% connected to God at all times. I was just reading a bunch of Bible and trying to figure out God's character and trying to figure out what I needed to be in order to connect with Him like that. And so that's what this whole project is about. It's about struggle. It's about forgiveness. It's about redemption. It's about encouragement, and it's about challenging yourself to live that life.
Fantastic. As far as the sound of the record goes, how does it differ from the last full length? Everything is different now.
Yeah, this record is a rock and roll record. A lot of rock songs, a couple of songs that are a little bit different for Stellar Kart, a couple of throwbacks to early 2000s, like 2005 Stellar Kart. You'll hear a little bit of that.
Nice.
Old school in there, and then also some newer, more progressive rock stuff, and some ballads. Man, it's I love it. It's something. There's something on there for everybody, but I'd say overall, it's definitely a rock and roll record. Even more so than some of our previous records, which I would say would fall more in the punk rock category. This one's maybe a little bit more straight rock and roll.
Okay, fantastic. Now, what was the experience like in the studio doing original songs again after having done an EP of covers?
Yeah, it was so good, man, to write and be able to create and lay down our own stuff again. It has been too long. Even the last record we put out in 2010, everything is different now, had several worship cover tunes on it. So this is our first full record of original songs since 2008, which is hard to believe.
Right.
But it is, and so yeah, man, it feels good. I'm so excited about this record. I can't wait for everybody to hear it, and it really means a lot to me, and I hope that it can mean as much to people who get to hear it.
Fantastic. Now, is this the first record that you guys have done with the new lineup?
Yes. Our Disney EP that we did, Allie actually guest vocaled on that, and that's how we kind of started that relationship. And since she's Nick's sister, it was like, well, we need somebody to play bass. She's a better singer than I am, and so why not ask her? Why not ask her to see if she wants to play bass and sing some vocal stuff? And at first she was like, nah, and then it took a little while, but she's like, you know what? Yeah, let's give it a try. And she's been with us for about a year and a half now.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, see, I was wondering
Yeah.
where that relationship came in because typically, when there is a band that has a lone female member, it's either somebody's wife or related somehow. And with it being Nick's sister, I guess that makes a lot of sense.
Right, yeah, I guess it would be a little weird if there wasn't that family dynamic on the road, but I mean, she's just like, she's got three big brothers on the road with her, and we have a great time, and the chemistry on the road is incredible right now. Everybody's getting along, and we're all super excited about getting out and hanging out with each other on the road, so it's really fun right now.
Fantastic. This may be a bit of an awkward question, but did your new deal with Impop Records happen in any way because of the connection between Nick and Super Chick?
No, it actually happened because we signed a management deal with Wes Campbell.
Oh, okay.
And so they have a lot of history with Newsboys as well, and it just happened to be coincidental that Trish was on the label as well, which is pretty funny because we go into the Impop office and there's a picture of us with Nick, and then there's a picture of Trish right next door, so it's like the bomb art wall. It's pretty funny.
He's just everywhere. Yeah, it's kind of funny because it really does feel like you guys, with the current lineup, have kind of an all-star cast, with Jeremy having been in Philmont and Bread of Stone, and then, of course, Allie and Nick having their history, and then, of course, there's you, and you've been there from the beginning. It feels like it's a really solid, a very experienced lineup, and I'm pretty excited for you guys.
Yeah, man. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to stick and what's going to hit big, but I feel like everything we're poised, I think, to make a big run, and God willing, I hope we can. But I think these songs will hopefully connect with people like a few of ours have in the past.
Very cool. Now, who did you guys work with as far as like a producer for this new album?
Seth Mosley produced this new one. He did some of the Newsboy stuff. I think he did Audio A, and he's done a bunch of stuff lately. He's a busy guy.
Yeah, he is. He's actually been on the show before too. Back, we talked about Me Emotion mainly when he was on the show, but he's a talented dude and real stand-up guy too. Yeah,
it was funny. Actually, Me Emotion, I think they're done now, but he kind of their last tour, they came out with us on a run, and we had a great time and connected, and it just worked out that he was able to do our record.
Fantastic. Excellent. Now, with all of this going on, how is the touring going with the new lineup now that you guys have some new tunes to be able to play and whatnot, and kind of have had a little bit of time for the lineup to settle in? How are things going on the road?
It's really good, man. It's so good. We had to play as a three-piece for a while. I played bass, and so that was a nice little learning process to sing lead vocals and play bass for a while, and it was fun. It was kind of like dirty punk rock style, which was great, which I loved. But at the same time, I missed being able to take the guitar off and run and jump in the crowd and go nuts, and I missed that extra element of energy. And so now having that back, plus having Allie adding that dynamic, not only on stage where it's awesome because she's a killer singer, great player, and she's just fun, like she's got a great stage presence, but after the show, I mean, she's so great with the girls. Like, she's able to connect with the girls in the audience, just obviously on a different level than we're able to. And so it's really fun to see that interaction after the show. But yeah, the stage show is rocking. We got to go out on a little run earlier this spring and kind of practice some of the new songs for some people on the road. And it was received really well. And we're playing a couple new songs on this tour that we're doing this fall with Audio Adrenaline, so that's going to be awesome too.
Fantastic. Did the Audio Adrenaline tour kind of get greased along by the management being the same? Oh
yeah, definitely. That was a strong point in getting it done. But we're friends with those dudes, and we're really stoked to be out on tour with them. And Disciple's going to be out on the road with us as well. We've toured with them a bunch, so it's going to be a real fun time.
There you go. You and Kevin can swap stories about how relieved you are not to have to play bass and sing at the same time.
I know, dude. He's been doing it a lot longer than I have too. So he's one of my favorites in the whole industry, and I can't wait to get to see him on a day-to-day basis again.
Right. It's so funny because I asked him if he missed it. He goes, "You know what?" He goes, if I never pick up a bass guitar again, that's totally cool with me."
Yeah, I mean, I love playing bass. I think it's cool. I don't like playing bass for our band. Like, right. I can go out and play it for somebody else and rock it. It'd be fun. But man, playing our songs on bass was too. I felt like I was in a cage. You know, it was. I wasn't free to go crazy.
Well, I hear that, man. I hear that. That's awesome. So, with the new album coming out, is there a track that you're just most excited for everyone to get to hear off of it?
You know, one of our not just the title track, which I'm really excited for people to hear, because that's basically the message of the whole CD, and the whole theme of the record is just to live all in. Besides that, one of my favorites is the first track on the record, which is probably our hardest rock song that we've ever done. It's called "Criminals and Kings." And it's one of my favorites musically, and it's one of my favorites lyrically. It was one of the first songs I wrote for this record that I knew was going to be on the record. It was one of those ideas that I'm like, this has to make it on the record. And I was reading about King David, and reading about, okay, this is a man after God's own heart, right? Like, what is this guy like? Because I want to be like that guy. And so I'm reading about him, and you know how he's the most storied king in the Bible. He's one of the greatest dudes, greatest stories, greatest characters in the whole Bible. And God calls him a man after his own heart. And, you know, it's like, okay, yeah. And he was also one of the baddest dudes in the whole Bible, too. Like, he made some of the biggest mistakes and committed some of the most egregious sins in the entire Bible, too. And he was one of the most messed up dudes in the whole Bible. And so if God can still love him and still place him in that leadership role of a king over the whole nation, then, you know, he can love me for what I'm doing right and for what I'm doing wrong. He loves me the same regardless. And so wrote that song about King David, basically, you know, and it's about us too. It's about this dual nature that we have is we're called to be kings. We're called to live this life of kings and be an example here. But for some reason we're nailed to this earth, and we have this criminal tendency. And so it's kind of about that dual nature of humans and striving to be better.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's fantastic. And we're enjoying playing the single too. And I'm hoping that it takes off really well, because when I first heard it, my first reaction was, it sounds like Stellar Kart, but at the same time, this is pretty beefy for Stellar Kart.
Good, man. Good. Yeah. That's exactly what we're going for. So that's good.
Excellent, man. Excellent. Now, what kind of pre-orders can people take advantage of up until the release date of the record? Because I saw a few of them. They looked like they were pretty cool.
Yeah, man, we got some pre-order deals happening right now on our website. I think it's on our Facebook and stuff too, where you can get it. You can get the album super cheap. I think it's like $7.99 or something like that if you pre-order it. And then there's also a deal where you can get an exclusive T-shirt that we help design. And so yeah, man, there's a bunch of cool stuff that you can get when you pre-order it, and I would highly recommend it.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Well, dude, what else can you tell us about what's been going on? Because, I mean, you know, at least since the last time I talked to you, it's been 6 years. But just in the last few years, I know there's been a lot of changes, of course, in the band lineup, and we've kind of already discussed that. But how about for you personally? Any big life changes over the past few?
You know, I did. I was fortunate to just have a son about 5 months ago. So that's kind of a big life change.
Yeah, for
sure. My wife. Yeah, his name's Jack, and he's amazing. He's a stud. He's so fun. And we also have a 6-year-old daughter, Emma, and they are just they're too much for me. I can't handle them. They're so cute. Just hurts my heart when I'm away from them. And my wife sends me pictures. I'm just like, oh. But yeah, I mean, we've had some really great times. We've been a little lighter on the touring side, and been deep in writing and making records, which is not as good on the financial end, but it's better for being home and spending time with the family, and it's been a really great time to recharge the batteries and kind of refocus and find the true focus of what I need to be doing with my life. You know, was it, like I said earlier, was it music even, or was it, do I need to step away from that and go do something else, get a real job? You know, I mean, there's all this up in the air about, you know, what do I do? And I found through all this writing and through good friends and through a lot of prayer and wise counsel that, you know, this is where I'm supposed to be, at least for now. And we'll see what happens.
Sounds great, man. Sounds great.
Sounds dangerous. I like it.
Awesome. Let's see here. What is the best bus game or van game that you have discovered on tour? Like something to pass the time?
Oh, my goodness. Let's see. Well, in the early days, we did this thing that we called Fight Club, and we would basically, in the front lounge of the bus, two guys would just kind of look at each other and be like, all right, it's time. And we would just kind of go at each other. And I mean, usually until somebody was like bleeding or somebody tapped out, like it got pretty heavy in the bus. Those were the violent years. And so now we're a little bit more relaxed. We just watch movies and watch TV and just kind of chill out. Well, I mean, I don't know. We don't really have any bus games, but yeah, back in the day it was a little bit of Fight Club, so we can't talk about that.
Okay. All righty. What is your favorite format of music? I mean, do you prefer CDs, vinyl, digital? What's best for you?
Probably CDs. I wish I was cool enough to say vinyl. I do like listening to vinyl, but I don't even have a record player, man. I'm not even hipster enough to have a record player from Urban Outfitters. So I'd say probably CDs because that's what I grew up on. And it's still what I've bought CDs for the longest time until it just made absolutely no sense to buy CDs anymore when everything's just all on iTunes. So probably CDs for me. And radio. I listen to radio in my truck all the time driving.
Well, God bless you.
Yeah, man.
Very cool.
It's the truth. I didn't even think about it. I'm doing a radio interview, but no, it's true. I listen to the radio in my truck all the time. I don't really listen to it at home, but anytime I'm driving, that radio's cranking.
Very cool. Very cool. What is the most surprising gift that you've ever received from a Stellar Kart fan?
That's a tough one. Let me think. We do have some amazing fans all over the world, and we've received some really great like local things from some fans in the Netherlands, and then like what are they called? They're called stroopwafels. They're like these little candy waffle things with caramel. Oh, they're delicious. It's ridiculous.
Oh, nice.
And so we got those. And then when we went to Australia, it was like one of our fans there brought us all stuff for us and for the kids, and like little stuffed kangaroos and Australian flags and boomerangs. Just kind of decked us out. So it was fun.
Very nice. Very nice. Cool. Now, here's one that may make you think a little bit, and you can feel free to pass on it if you want to. Is there any song in your Stellar Kart career that you would completely take back if you could? One that you could just erase from history and say it never existed?
I don't know, man. I think, I'm sure there are a couple that are not my favorite, but it's funny you should ask that because I actually went back. I had a long plane ride the other day, and I kind of went back just as I was listening to our new record, which I have on repeat just so I don't forget the lyrics when I'm playing it live.
Right.
But I was listening to some of the back catalog stuff just to hear production differences and just to kind of see the progression. And a couple of the tunes made me wince a little bit, but that's just part of the journey, man. So I can honestly say I wouldn't take any of it back. There are a few songs that I think I would like to go back and maybe re-record and do some different stuff on, but no, man, no regret.
Very cool. Excellent. That's kind of what I was hoping for, but I just figured I'd ask. Cool. All right, and the last one is, what would you say is the most un-rock and roll thing about you?
That I love to play golf.
Nice.
That's like, have you seen that FedEx commercial where they're like that super hardcore rock band is like caught going to the airport with their golf clubs, and the manager's real mad at them in the hotel room. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like me, dude. That's like I'm not going to shows when I'm hanging out. I'm like, where's the golf course? Let me go play golf.
Very cool. Very cool. What's your handicap?
Not very rock and roll. What's my handicap? It's probably around 6.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Very cool, man.
Have a good time.
Excellent. Now, see, I hear that Alice Cooper really likes golf too. If you ever, get a chance, you ought to play with him. That'd be fun.
Yeah, what's funny? He lives up there in Phoenix, where I'm from. So I haven't actually met him yet, but I've seen him a couple times, and I know he's got his charity tournament that he does out there.
Cool. Sweet deal, man. Well, awesome. Well, dude, thank you so much for taking the time, and I hope that the tour with Audio A goes well, and the new record just takes off like a shot, and I hope that everything is just smooth sailing from here, man. God bless.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.